Hey guys, DJ Jack here, back with you again. I hope you enjoyed Father Christmas, one of the best by the Knicks, one of the best classic rock Christmas songs of all time. But here we go in now, talking about the legendary CBS FM. As of this week, the great old Scott Shannon, one of my radio heroes, will be retiring from broadcasting after 40 years of broadcasting. I think it's 40 years or 41 years. I think it's 40 years. Long time he's been in radio. And he's in his 70s now. And the guy deserves to sleep in. And they're dedicating the 101.1 CBS FM radio studio after his name in his honor, as he was one of the top longest running people that brought, out in New York, what station he used to work for, Z100, from the worst place in the radio market of New York to first place. If you haven't seen the documentary of Scott Shannon's Worst to First, definitely worth watching. It's how he grew the whole station and put Z100 on the top spot, from being at the worst spot on the radio market to the top spot. It tells you the whole story about his history with how he created Z100. It's really cool. And now then he was brought over to, WPLJ, which is now a Christian station. It used to be regular, and then he was brought over to CBS. In 2014, he was brought to be with Scott and Patty in the Big Show at CBS FM. And now he's retiring from broadcasting. He will still remain doing his America's Greatest Hits on the weekends as his weekend show. Also still continue doing the True Oldies channel, the True Oldies station with him that he does. But he's going to be retiring from doing morning show. And Scott Shannon is definitely one of the best heroes. I know a lot of people saying they're going to stop listening to CBS FM after Scott Shannon is done on Friday. A lot of fans and listeners are saying it's their last day listening to CBS FM. I don't blame you. I mean, I like the 80s music, no offense. I'm not a huge, the 90s are okay. I'm not huge into the 90s. And now they're trying to consider people that are like in their 20s. They're trying to focus on the 25-year-olds to 54 ages. And I just don't think that early 2000 stuff is oldies. I don't consider that oldies. I'm sorry. But real oldies to me are 60s, 50s, 70s, and 80s are actually the true oldies. I'm sorry, but 90s don't consider oldies to me, and either do early 2000s. It's just my opinion, but yes, a lot of people are complaining that they don't love that these oldies stations now focus on 90s being oldies or early 2000s being oldies. No, they're not. They're not the oldies. I'm sorry to blame it to your radio stations, but they're not old. 2000s is not oldies. I'm sorry to say it. They're not oldies. Yes, maybe you'll ask somebody my age, but somebody who's a real classic oldies music guy, I know what the real oldies are. The real oldies are the 60s, 50s, 70s, and 80s are the real oldies. Not the 90s, not the early 2000s. And that's why a lot of people are grumpy. They miss the 60s music. I don't blame you. The 60s music was definitely one of the best. 60s, 70s, and 80s are definitely one of the best formats. I wish these stations could focus more on the rankings getting better, but with the 60s music, because we miss this. I mean, it's great to put on a classic rock station, still be able to hear Beatles and Rolling Stones, but I'm sorry to say it, I don't consider 2000s and 90s oldies. I really don't. But that's me. And it's so great to see the CBS FM studio honoring and naming the CBS FM 101.1 studio after Scott Shannon, after his retirement. He's a legend. He's a New York radio legend. He deserves the studio to be honored in his name. Congratulations, Scott Shannon, on your 40 years of broadcasting. We will miss you on CBS FM. I look forward to hearing the new morning show, but it's not going to be the same hearing your voice. And getting to hear your voice on the weekends, on America's Greatest Hits, getting to hear the same voice was great in the time I was listening. So thank you, Scott Shannon, for even though I found your station a little late, but I just want to say thank you for everything, Scott. You really, really made me love oldies music and get to know the oldies music, and you're keeping Casey Kasem's legend alive is really, really important. Is really great that you've done. So thank you, Scott Shannon, for 41 years of broadcasting. Congratulations, retirement Friday, and we will miss you deeply, Scott. Congratulations, and you too, Patty Steele. Can't forget about you. You're a very sweet person, and I can tell on listening to you on the air. You're a super duper sweet person. Besides that, I'm DJ Jack. Talk to you later.